Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Greetings and salutations, all of my people out there in internet land. How are you doing today? I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege, nay, the honor, to serve as the host of the BlackUSA.news morning show. We have an amazing show for you today. I ain't gonna spoil it yet, and that's also we a little bit late today, and that's because I was with our guest and we was having a real good time off screen in the backstage, and then it was just like, oh wait, I think we should be doing something, and it was like, oh, this is who we get to talk to today. This is one of a very good friend of mine who has been doing community healing and community engagement for years. We're going to talk about her entrepreneurial journey and how she is helping people to heal through just being open, recognizing their personal power, and how the metaphysical world really impacts you. So this is going to be a great conversation. I'm hoping I don't get lost in it, because sometimes when you got friends who are real deep, like you got to go wait. I need a dinghy, or what do you call it, a lifesaver, life preserver, so I can float along with you. So we're gonna see if I can swim today. Today is Friday, February 18th, 2022. Happy 18th day of Black History Month, and today is National Caregivers Day. That is a really big deal, especially in the Black community. There are a number of people who end up taking care of their nieces, their nephews, their grandkids, their parents, their uncles, their aunts, their cousins. In the Black community, there are many times where we end up, hey, Erica. Erica says, what's up, Tom? Yeah, right. It's fire today, Erica. It's going to be fire today. I don't even know. I should unplug the smoke detectors because it's just going to be fire. Sorry. I get it. Y'all know how it is. Why am I apologizing, y'all? Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how it is. But making sure that we honor our caregivers. I was really happy to learn about today because this is a really big issue. I know that kind of change with either parents getting older or having to deal with individuals in your family who may be disabled. That is a really big deal, and big shout out to everybody who's doing it. And we know it's not rough. Please, what's up, Michael? Make sure that you look for resources for respite care. And if the individual you're working with has disabilities or whatever, you can holler at one of our incredible social workers, you know what I mean? Especially if you're in the Baltimore City area. I ain't going to say no names, but Erica Morgan, you know what I mean? Drop something in the comments, you feel me? And Brandy Raymar, she knows about caregiving. She's been doing it for a while. And so again, this is National Caregivers Day. So big ups to all of you all out there who are doing the damn thing. Also, you all know I do a big up to the super producer, Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan. He is holding us down, making sure that we have everything we need to continue to produce a quality show. You know what I mean? It's you think about it and you're like, there are some people who have been in your corner and had your back for a long time. Every time I have a random idea and I'm like, hey, yo, what you trying to do? Crazy Horse just jump straight in and is like, okay, let's make it happen. And it's really great to have somebody like that in your space. So I always want to make sure that I give you your flowers while you're here. See, when I was young, we called it Heartbeat Props, Digital Underground, circa 1990s. Yeah, I realize I don't have a lot. That's probably why I don't have a lot of millennial audience members, but it's whatever. Yesterday, we talked to Veronica Wright. We were supposed to talk to Quinn Conyers, but we had an amazing conversation with Veronica Wright on legalization of drugs and what the impact could be on the Black community and over incarceration of African Americans. So that was really cool. If you missed it, you should go get it. But we also need to say thank you to the people that make this possible. We'll start off with Edible Arrangements. Edible Arrangements has some amazing fruit. They consistently pick good fruit and the candy coating that they put on it, if you like that kind of thing, like I do, is phenomenal as well. Let me show y'all what happened when you talk about it and people really care for you. Look at that. Look at that. That came to me. Door dashed and everything. And you know what it had in it? It had three. One, two, three pineapple covered pineapple doves covered with white chocolate. You know who was happy. I might get happy again and go get one. You know they even got it DoorDash. That's a wonderful thing. Big shout out to Brandy for that. Um, J. Wendell Gordon, if you find yourself on the wrong side of criminal justice system, you want to get hired the warrior lawyer, not just because it sounds cool, because it rhymes, is because he actually fights for his clients. I encourage you to Google J. Wendell Gordon, and you will see the results that he gets for his clients. And you don't want to take a risk with your freedom. So give J. Wendell Gordon a call. And worst case scenario, he's not able to help you. But best case scenario, he's not able to help you, and he can transfer you to somebody who can. But best case scenario, he'll be able to take your case and help you stay out of the lockup. Big ups to STEM City USA and this weekend's Black Engineers of the Year Awards. I will be speaking tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be getting up and be ready, camera ready by 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I don't even know what's going to happen. That may mean that my Friday night is curtailed, or it may not, because I'm 50, so I get to do what I want when I want. Amen. 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 If you are interested in, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you all. Make sure that you all hit STEM City USA up in the metaverse, because BlackUSA.news, all of our shows are streaming there. So boom shakalaka, make sure that you go and check them out. Murphy, Falcone, and Murphy, I tell you all every day, Judge Murphy has been fighting for the Black community my entire adult life. And he put together a law firm that really embodies those principles and that tenacity to make sure that the quality of life is improved for our people. So if you have a civil situation, or you have found that the government has taken some steps that you don't believe are appropriate, and you want to find a great advocate to help you move your cause, you want to give Murphy, Falcone, and Murphy. And again, worst case scenario, you call them, they're not able to help you, but can refer you to somebody who is, or who can. Best case scenario, they can help you transform the trajectory of your case. I Am Black Wall Street is a book by Donnie Glover. He is one of our newest sponsors. I Am Black Wall Street takes a look at the existence of Black Wall Street from a different perspective. A lot of the literature on Black Wall Street looks at what it was at the time of the attack, or there's a lot more scholarship that talks about the rebuilding efforts and things like that, and also how to prevent another massacre like happened at Tulsa. But Donnie takes a different approach to it. He takes a look at how the Black people got to Tulsa in the first place. Tulsa, Oklahoma is not one of those port cities where slaves would have been dropped off or anything. So that meant these people from all over the United States had to come to this place and create it, and really look at that. It serves as maybe not too far, but a really good on how we move forward and maybe replicate that in our current situation. Oh, darker than blue, darker than blue, darker than blue. Darker blue may have to be part of my Friday this week, and they had a private event. I wanted to be private so bad. I was so looking forward to grabbing some food from Darker Than Blue, but that's okay. I am coming back because I'm never going to stop. I'm like Puff Daddy in the '90s, or was he P Diddy back then, or was he Sean? The dude Sean, he told you that he wouldn't stop, and I'm not gonna stop either. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going back and getting what I like there. And again, the Cowboy Prime Rib. Yep. Next time I think I'm gonna go for a burger. I think I'm gonna go for a burger, Darker Than Blue burger. I think I'm gonna do that. I think that's where my heart is, but it's probably not where my heart should be. I'm sure my doctor will say something about that, but it's separate issue. That's a different show. Today we're not talking about physical health. We talk about spiritual and mental health and things like that. But Monday, we're going to be talking Mental Health Monday. We're going to be talking to Shannon Battle and Randy DuPont. You all know the I Can lady. She works with us on a regular basis with our Mental Health Mondays. Randy DuPont is part of the Baltimore consent decree monitoring team, and he's going to tell us about what's happening in Baltimore City and how they are providing mental health services in some of the communities that are plagued by violence. Hey, good morning, Zeobia. Everybody's out here today. Yeah, well, y'all probably know Amma was going to be here. That's why I would like to believe it was about me. I don't even know if it is. But so let's go ahead. Big shout out to a common friend, Mona Lisa Diallo. She is always out in the community helping people and making sure that the resources that we need on the ground are available and people know where to get them. So it's always big ups for people who are doing great things in the community. And another great woman to talk about today is my goddaughter's grandmother, Claudette Gladstone. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Mama. And she is the proprietor of the Temple in the Woods Bed and Breakfast in Virginia. So happy birthday, Ma. Hopefully you are enjoying the day. Oh yeah, it really is all about armor. So you know what? You know what? Oh yeah, and you are right, Erica. I may be a little hungry. So, so, so. See, you keep messing with me, and it won't be hungry. It might be hangry, and then that the show you know what happens if it gets. You got me riled up enough right now because Alma's here. We're gonna talk about all these things metaphysical and her entrepreneurial journey. But Erica, okay, Erica, this is whatever happens next is on you. So, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? Because I ain't got a lot of time left. I want to say bring Ama on so everybody meet Ama. Hi! How are you? Great
I am
morning.
splendid. Enjoying you. I've been cracking up listening to you.
This is all part of my own. This is part of my own mental health journey. This show. I'm grateful for Donnie for giving me a platform to share the evolution of my mental health with you guys. All right, so we could talk about. We could literally spend this whole time talking about all of the stuff that you have done, and not even get to what you're doing now. So let's because and I know myself well enough to know that I get excited and I want to talk about the stuff I already know. But you did tell us new stuff. So first. Okay, right. This is an interview. I forgot. We were talking before. This is okay. This is the interview part. Okay, so tell the people about yourself because they don't know you. Well, apparently all of them do, but okay, let's see what happens.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am so excited. So let me tell you, I am a Southern born, bohemian, world citizen Black woman, a singer, songwriter, storyteller, poet, keeper and practitioner of sacred technologies and arts, holder of sacred spaces. I am a mother of two, a lover of house music, quantum metaphysician, and absolutely a holistic RN. Yay, that's me.
Okay. That like Erica's right. That is that all of that. And the funny part is didn't even and this is because again, this is where I come in. She didn't even mention the fact that she has an amazing voice. She has not mentioned the fact that she is an incredible talent and has helped other artists develop their talent. She even in the way that she holds sacred spaces, she always does it in a way not just to honor the space, but also to expose other people and help them find a way to be open. So I mean, I should probably let you do the interview. I probably could just let you. You know what? I can put you backstage and I'll just do the rest of the interview about how great you are. But I'm sure Donnie would have something to say about that. So I'm not going to do that part. All right. So one of the big things that I want people to know, because shameless self-promotion is what we do here. Absolutely. If people don't know how to get something from you, give you some money, then I've done something wrong. So you have started a business. Talk about that.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Sanahara Energetics. We won't even get into how the name Sanahara showed up, but I'll tell you that it came after a long journey of being and in relationship with spirit where you trust. And in that trusting, I found myself asking, am I supposed to? And before I can get the word out, the name fell in. And energetics, it's what I do. We all do. We just don't know it. And so as a part of my journey, I'm a Reiki master. I'm a master sound healer. I work with Taoist stone medicines and invite sacred energies into spaces. And I'm really excited because I am able to do that virtually, but just now I'm in negotiations and talks to begin holding that space physically where I can go in and have people come in and
That
do
is
the
awesome.
work on and with them. So so you can find me on Sanahara Energetics, Sanahara, Sanahara Energetics, on Facebook, on the web, all those places. And if you just want to keep up and know what's going on, just follow me on the book. You already know. I'm always on there.
And always when they're doing great things. So talk to me about the type of person who would be kind of your target client. Who would be, because I know every business, everything ain't for everybody. There's some people whose place in their journey is not open to metaphysics, is not open to even understanding the nature of their own energy or the nature of their influence over energy or how they show up other places. So I would assume that those are not necessarily the people that would be best fit because they have this blockage. Who are the people who should be really thinking about coming to you or at least starting that conversation or doing the investigation?
Well, there's two things that I want to give you in this.
Okay.
One, as a registered nurse, I'm very good at meeting people where they are when they're in their space of vulnerability and in deep need for someone to come in and help them. So you have to kind of know, I need, and you're looking. And you know how they say, I look towards the hill from whence cometh my light, what cometh my help?
Yes.
I consider myself to be a lighthouse being. So I keep being who I be. And as you look out, you be like, what is something about her? And so that shows up for people who are caregivers. It comes up for people who are now beginning to question everything they've ever known. Why? Because I done put it all up on the table 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I done dumped it all out and been like, no, I've lived a multiple time self-examined life. And so if you're in the process of starting to say this isn't working, and I'm afraid or I'm scared and I'm trying to see which way to go forward, I am that person. And usually people find me because they like the way my voice sounds, or they find me because my friend showed me this video and you just popped up at this right time and you said something. Somehow or another that happens. I kind of lean into the consciousness of what's going on in humanity. And I'll just start sharing. And I'll have people inbox me, oh my God, how did you know? I was like, I did not know I felt. And evidently I felt you. So those are my people. If you're seeking, if you're searching, if you're on the path, you've been on the path, you need some extra support. So you already know, and you're like, I know I need you. Or you're scared that you've been alone walking this thing and you want to get some guidance. That would be me as well. I'm not going to be your teacher forever, but I will show enough help you learn how to. Journey. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a couple of things that you said. One is about the sound of your voice and the timbre. A lot of people, you talked about being having a mastery over sound. They don't understand that is just, again, another form of energy. Sound waves, they can be measured. They have impact, and there is this idea that if you look, electrical currents are everywhere and it's all about waves and frequencies and things interacting and doing it on a quantum level where everything's tied together. And so this idea is that we are, understanding you is how you begin to understand other people, not how to cater to yourself, but understanding yourself, that reflective practice that you're talking about. Yes. One of the things that it sounds like is that you have been able to access a power of empathy or a power of an empath, and not empathy in the way that we normally think about it socially, where I feel I have an exchange of feelings with you, or I believe that I can feel. I'm talking about again the traditional title of empath, where you are actually able to feel and in some cases project those emotions onto people. But it sounds like again they need to understand that there's a problem.
So what we deal with in the idea of being an empath for me
Mm-hmm.
deals a lot with the fact that because I've reflected on myself and I've witnessed when I am experiencing something that's not my own, like I was fine and then I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what's all of this? And sometimes I think there's something, used to think there was something wrong with me when I realized, no, you just feeling what's going on. So then I began the path of being an observer of self. That's the reflection. That's the self
Yes.
recognition and saying, that's not me. I don't own it. So I could separate myself from the emotion and simply be with
Hmm.
then you're being with the emotion
Right.
you and that idea of being with the emotion allows you to not necessarily drown in it. I drown sometimes, but I've learned to swim, you
Right.
know. But you learn how to get on the wave of it and you can ride it knowing that it won't last. How often it doesn't last always, but it doesn't feel like that when you're in it. You can feel like
Absolutely.
it's always been that way.
You are absolutely right. Um, as you're talking about this, thinking about the fact that it's the National Caregivers Day, um, caregivers tend to have many caregivers tend to have that empath space or that
Yes.
empath ability. And what you said is absolutely true. Is that as a giver, you need to make sure that you understand the limits of your giving. You need to understand how to protect yourself. You mentioned, the giving, but I'm taking it to the point where the need is going to be outrageous all the time. And
Yeah.
one of the things that, and I love the fact that you're talking about how you can drown in other people's water. Like,
Ooh.
this isn't even my pool. Like, it's like, why are you here? It's like, this isn't my pool, but you find yourself drowning. And I know we talked about this before, and I've said this on the show, so I'll say it again. A lot of times we are drowning because of relationships we didn't choose. Oh, that's family. I got to do that because it's family. And I told y'all before, I don't understand just because you're family. Two people have sex and have another kid. How is that my responsibility? I did not do that. Now, if I choose it and I take it on, now that's different. But just that natural fact does not seem to me to add responsibility to me. But that's when I get called names like asshole and stuff like that. But it's whatever. And that doesn't count against me because I'm quoting other people talking about me. So that's not me cursing. That's them cursing me. I'm citing them, so it's not attributable to me. So if y'all don't go around telling Donnie and my mother
You
stuff, y'all
are
disrespectful.
good. You're good. Well, I want to share with you this idea. There's tribe. We talked about tribal behaviors before, right? And so let's add in two other aspects, the individual and the collective. I'm
Mm,
someone
mm,
who hasn't, I understand myself as the individual. I recognize the collective. And I know that tribal has been created by agreements.
yes.
So if we feel good, if loving on you, we've created this, you take care of yourself to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you're seeking my support, I know that you're in this need, like we can find these ways. And I also believe that God feeds the birds, God will feed you too. And I'm walking that path out my own self. I'm like, God,
Mm-hmm.
I know that I will be taken care of. And I've made an agreement to do all in my power
Mm-hmm.
to go as far as I can. So spirit, energy, matter, people, beings showing up as spirit, God, matter can support me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this process of the tribal agreements we currently have, which are highly dysfunctional. And so we land in these places of supporting people who have absolutely resisted everything that you tried to do to support them all along. Mama, don't eat this. Daddy, don't do that. We need you to be well. And would you go talk to this person? Would you go do this thing? And it becomes a situation where your heart ends up creating this fact that you no longer have boundaries. Boundaries are sacred.
Mm.
Every part of our
Yes.
body has boundaries. Every cell in our body has a
That's a
memory. Every
boundary. And
organ
actually,
has
when
a
the boundary breaks down, then you're dying.
When the boundaries break down, you're dying. And so we
Oh,
then
that's
again
another one we got today.
look, so we come into these healthier agreements, right? And that we know that it's hard because again, we're living in a society filled with dysfunctional agreements. And this is just how it is, and we can't change it. We have defenders of dysfunction, right? We have a lot of
Yes.
defenders of dysfunction.
And one of the reasons that there's a for me, and I've been thinking about, and we've been talking about this over the course of years, but one of the things I realize is the social, to your point about socialization, how people are socialized helps them, limits or exposes them to what options they have. A lot
Yeah.
of times we judge people on what they did, but we didn't understand how they understood their options. And then we even have been taught to hold ourselves accountable to shit we shouldn't have known then. When I work with clients who do this all the time, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have get to sign that contract with them. It's like, well, why not? Well, they ended up not fulfilling it. They, took the money and ran. It's like, so I shouldn't have signed it. So did you know they were going to do that at the time? Well,
Right.
no. So why are you holding yourself to perfect knowledge that you didn't have at the time? But we've been trained that way. But
Self-compassion is not something that we
Mhm.
honor in our society. We don't honor self-care. You're supposed to give it all away. And then, people only can come help you once you're completely depleted and dependent. So now people exploit
but but
being
but that is
depleted.
that but that's the nature of social systems. Social systems are designed to maintain status quo, and status quo includes those who are in power. It's like playing a game with a 7-year-old. Like the rules will always change so that as they grow older, they're just going to keep changing the rules so that they can win. Right, and that's one of the reasons. Like even taking it from the metaphysical space into the political space, one of the reasons that the Democrats are getting shellacked by the Republicans everywhere, and the Republicans represent a minority, is because they all are together. They are all singing the same song. Now, some of them can't sing. Some of them sound like this. But it's all the same words, and every people's like, well, we'll yell loud, we'll sing at our highest volume to drown you out because we all want to win. The Democrats is like, well, I don't think we should sing pop songs. Well, we damn sure not doing hip hop. Well, I like classical, and everybody, and well, I'm gonna sing what I'm gonna sing. This is my song. You can sing what you, and it's like, and even though the Republicans sound like trash, at least it's one song.
The idea of song and harmonics, right? When I think about nature, I'm okay with people singing individual songs, but what I'm not okay is discord. Discord. When you start moving into this space of we cannot flow together, because when I think of symphonies, everybody's playing their own part, but there's an agreement about the formation of the song in that regard. And I think that's kind of what we see, as you said, in the political system with the Republicans. What we have over here is people refusing to sing, people not wanting, as you said,
Yeah, I
like
ain't saying that.
and here's what's interesting. There's a lot more. The idea of protection of freedoms is happening a lot more with Republicans than it is with the idea of Democrats, who are supposed to be protecting social systems. We're protecting systems more than we're actually listening to the people who are being supposedly protected by those systems.
I'm sorry. Let's we don't keep it 100 here, but we at least keep it 85. And if we keep it at 85, the system is not broken. The system is actually working exactly the way that it should.
Yes.
The problem is that we don't like the way that it should. Like, and it is often said, like, the reason that people want us to, you have to work within the system to change it. Absolutely, I want you to work within the system because I control the system. So I get to control the outcomes and the pace of the outcomes. Right now, we're talking about $15 an hour as though it is, because it's always been said it needs to be minimum wage, needs to be $15 an hour. But we started saying that shit back 15 years ago. And so if we still want to keep it, not even keeping up with CEO salaries, but keeping up with the price of inflation, that $15 an hour from 15 years ago should at least be 20 some now.
At least.
But but the people who control the system, they kept that argument of $15. They kept it so long that now $15 is the new $4, the new $7. And now you get to feel good because you're voting for $15 when it just moves the line for poverty up for everybody. On my nerves.
All of the nerves, the truth of what you're talking about, and these systems that we are continuing to not challenge. A lot of people, like they call it the great resignation, right? Because there's a part of us where people are just checking out. And one of the things that I've recognized is the blessing of trauma. People have been so frigging broken, their body won't even let them engage anymore. And as they're seeking wellness, they're beginning to realize all the places where the trauma existed.
Yeah.
And that's a little scary. We talked about standing in the unknown now. We're in the unknown. Yeah. What are we going to do?
Well, one of the things, I'm going to give you some pushback on that. Okay. I don't think that it is the fact that the trauma has brought the blessing. I think that it is the fact that it has exposed that we were strong enough to begin with. And so the reason that I changed the orientation of that is because it gives abusers an opportunity to feel comfortable in their abuse. Well, look, like I've literally heard someone say this. It's like, being challenged by the fact that they were an abusive parent. And what they say is like, well, look, look where you are now. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be this strong. And it starts to honor that trauma, honor the abuse, like the abuse made you. If you have $100,000 and you have an $80,000 emergency, that emergency doesn't make you richer. But we say that mental health wise, like, oh, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Where the hell has that ever been true?
I understand, and I agree with you. And I appreciate you for calling out the nuance, right? What I'm speaking specifically on around this is the fact that we cannot take another piece of this as a society. Our world can barely bear another part of this.
It couldn't bear what we were doing now.
Are you ready now? It's like the world is saying, are you ready now? The water is saying, are you ready now? The birds falling out of the sky are saying, are you ready now? And the worst part is there are still people who are not ready.
No, but my thing is, and I agree with you. I just wanted to, the nuance of that language is really important for me because I have seen too many abusers anchored into that. Yeah, and I want to make sure as a community we stop that shit off the break. Like,
we're not absolving anybody of accountability.
Right, the system has abused us. Yes. We are being currently, and it's like, why can't you forgive? I can't forgive you while you are hitting me now. Like that is where the great resignation is, this realization that it was bad before. And while COVID has been horrible, it created a break for us to realize CEOs, that they ain't that important because the dude stocking the shelves, the CEO could leave and go wherever, but I need him to show up every morning. I need the cashier to show up every day. I need the person who, especially in COVID, I need the person who cleans with the good bleach. Oh, I need that person everywhere. But guess who got rich during this time? The dude who flew away. And so what we have seen is we got this break to start going like, yo, but why? The real talk for me, the first 6 weeks, I saved so much money the first 6 weeks of COVID because I didn't realize how much I had to pay in parking, how each one of those like happy hours or lunch meetings, those added up. And then I started realizing, and it, Lord forbid, I got a little extra sleep that I hadn't planned on. And it was like, why have I not been doing this the whole time? Like, what? And then I guess started seeing, like, and why? Why do I have to show up at somebody's office, dress up, and wear pants? Well, not sweatpants, regular pants. I don't want you all to think that I'm here like free balling. I'm saying, like you got to, stuff like that. And again, if I am, that's part of the 15% y'all don't need to know.
No, but this energy around recognition, at a certain point, we have to get clear. And if you're tired, malnourished, stressed, continuing to just keep following what you feel like you're supposed to do, when they shut everything down for the first time, people caught up with their own selves and the reality. They either realized their relationship was healthy or that it wasn't. They actually got a chance to see their kids and know who they were. Like for the first time, people actually woke up A lot of people are completely asleep at the wheel, but living every day.
But but that is by design.
Yes.
That is why the CEO class and the institutional class freaks out about the idea of remote working, because the system is designed from K through 12. Prison system and American system, corporate system, capitalism in general is about control and hoarding resources. And
Yes.
so the best way for me to control you is to control what you even perceive to be your option. If you
Yes.
don't, if I put a cover over a door in a room and tell you to hurry up and you got to leave, you don't even know there's a door there. So you're going back up the steps. So you're like, okay, there must only be one way out, because I'm
Uh-huh.
hiding the ball. I am hiding the ball. I have decided to control the situation and shape the options that you even know are available. And while
Yes.
you're running upstairs, and let's say there's a fire, while you're running upstairs, I'm going out the back door because I know where the hidden entrance is because I created the room. This place is
That
not
is
designed
really
for us. Literally, there is no facet of American society that is not only is it, I'll take it even further, not only is it not designed for us, it is designed as our antithesis.
and so when we recognize that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you recognize it, a lot of times, it's almost like the guy in the movie The Matrix, and he wanted to he wanted to go back to sleep.
Oh,
Like, I don't even want to deal with it because what do I do? And you feel like you can't do.
mm-hmm.
And this is why, for me, in the work that I do, the tenets of self-care, self-compassion, knowing that there's process instead of perfection, knowing that
Mm.
you're not doing it all by yourself, like the world is trying to live too.
Mm-hmm.
We're all trying to do this thing together. How do we come out of fear into trust? That is one of the most revolutionary things I think we're going to do as we begin to learn how to trust ourselves again, trust power
Yeah.
again, trust. And that trust,
Mm, mm,
um,
mm, mm,
yes, go
mm,
ahead.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
you don't
mm,
think trust is
mm.
revolutionary? We talked about this before, but I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the ugly conversations. I'm okay with
No,
getting real clear.
that's honestly that's why you
We
here.
gotta get
That's why
clear.
you
If we
here, and
can
I'm
get
excited
clear,
because if you couldn't handle conversations, you'd be a different type of guest, and we have a different type of conversation. I wouldn't be so
okay,
excited.
let's go.
But my thing is, the issue around trust, to your point, is that our society, we are not socialized to even understand what trust is. Even the empowering thing, empowering things, the empowerment activities that we engage in are only designed to empower us to impotence. So it's that fake empowerment. It is, oh, you have choices. It's kind of like when you say, oh, you have choices. Oh, I want to go here. Oh no, that's not a that's well, why don't show me a whole menu if you know stuff ain't there. But that's what we have. We don't know and are able to trust ourselves. We never experienced, many of us have never experienced being in a sacred space with another human being. It's always let my avatar show up. And then when we decide, when we can't hold ourselves back anymore and we show up as our original selves, then it's, oh, people don't understand me. They don't like me. Of course not. They never seen you before. You've been hiding. You send somebody else out and then you show up. No, thank you, man. It's like people who wear too much makeup. Like you show up barefaced one day. I don't even know who you are. What are you doing? What's happening? I'm calling the police, ma'am. I don't know you, ma'am. Where's the face of my girl? What's happening?
And so here's the beauty we're talking about, right? Here's where we are. We're looking for the people who have decided to courageously be themselves. We're
Ah,
looking for the people who have courageously decided to begin building these systems. They're happening more and more. We're at
mm-hmm,
the point in which more of us who have decided to be courageous and be brave. We were the first wave. And
mm,
I think about one of the people who inspired me. She's on my wall right now. I look at Harriet. I look at my healer, my leaders, my
mm-hmm,
people
mm-hmm.
who set the tone for what it means to walk courageously while other people thought you were a fool. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so when you move in that way, eventually you go from being foolish to being the exemplary demonstration for what is possible when you move that way.
But for me, the limit is, and this is why I tell my clients in this, the aspiration should be the aspiration. But the
Mhm.
challenge for me is making sure that you understand that that doesn't make it worth it. So for example, Getting to freedom is awesome. Using Harriet as an example, getting you to freedom. But the actual win is the fact that you left. The moment you stepped off of the plantation, you chose freedom. Now, what the rest of the world does to you, you can't control that necessarily. You can try to
Correct.
avoid it, you can try to influence it, but that moment that you crossed that line, you committed to doing that. You chose freedom. Because in the rest of it is just the follow up. You see what I'm saying? The rest of it is just what's
It is a
happening.
walking it out again every day. Every day
Yes.
we're choosing it. And so if we're choosing again every day, this is why I chose my path. This is why I tell stories. This is why I write poems. This is why I do sound healing, or I do simple things to get it in you. Because
Yes.
every day we repeat. The sun rises and the sun sets. There's patterns. How
Mm-hmm.
often can we continue being every day? I won't do it for all the beings.
Right.
For those who look towards the hills, from whence cometh their help, they begin to see. And the idea is not to motivate people, but to inspire them. Because as I said, I am not here to do your work for you. I don't know what your
Mm-hmm.
great gift is. I don't know what you're going to do. But every time we make the choice, the idea is, can we make a preponderance of choices that lead us to developing something new? Can we as a collective, and we don't need everybody. You ever heard of what critical mass theory?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we don't need everybody. We need enough who just began to do this. And we need enough of us continuing that process of making that choice every day. And this
Yes.
is why we can't make it every day if we're not sleeping. We can't make it every day if we're not
What?
drinking healthy water. Not,
What?
we're not drinking that. We're not drinking Coca-Cola's water. We need enough of us listening to things that actually feed us something real. And look at witnessing things. We begin to stay. What do I say to my children? Stay awake while you're awake. Stay aware while
Mm-hmm.
you're here. Pay attention, even if you don't understand. Pay attention to it. Stay curious. Don't just take it for what they say. Be willing to investigate. And if you don't know, you got resources. This is when you become of value. Find your resources, because if we have decided there is no way out,
Yep.
there is no way out. If we decided that this is the only way, then that's it. And you might as well, they've already won. But I'm like, every time I see that sunrise again,
Here's an option.
oh, I got a brand new opportunity. And I'm okay with the fact that sometimes it all comes apart.
Yes. Yes.
I've come undone so many times. I'm like, when people talk about a dark night of the soul, I'm like, look,
Yes. It can last a little bit
a
longer
dark
than
night,
that.
I walk in the dark. Like, I've learned how to just walk in the darkness of my soul and be the light. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've learned
Mm-hmm.
how to walk in it. And the more of us who simply, we don't need everybody. We need enough. That's all. That's my whole thing. I'm not worried about getting everybody to do it. We weren't all using iPhones. We weren't all. There were a few people who chose it, and depended upon how much passion, how much belief you bring to the table with what you're doing. Think about how good some people make a meal look when they're eating it. Think about how much energy some people give when they sing a song. Think about how much life you can. When we see someone in full, unadulterated joy, we love to watch just videos of the children dancing and playing and singing. They're completely there.
Yes.
And it reminds us. And then sometimes we fall back into the depression because, as you said, the program was designed for us to come up and fall back down. But some of us are coming up and somebody is saying, and I'll be right here with you.
Right. And the thing is that there was it's so funny that you mentioned that example. I was actually just reading a study about there was this type of animal. There doesn't matter what type of animal it was, but they put this animal in water to see how long it could tread. At first time they did it, it treaded for like 16 minutes, but then they started drowning, and so they took them out, and then they put them back in, to see how long the second time they put them in, they treaded for 59 minutes before they started getting tired. So what they concluded, or at least the theory that they wanted to investigate further, was that it was the fact that there was hope that got them when they got back in the water again, that they're like, well, last time, if I could just hold on a little bit longer. If I could just stay, because the last time I held on for 16 minutes, somebody came and got me. And then I got put back in the water. And then what happened? If I could just hold on, I made it 16. I'm going for 17 because somebody may come and pull me out. Oh, I ain't even see y'all. This is what happens when you bring Ama to my
show. The joy that we begin to know when you allow yourself to become undone. See, some of us have been put in positions in which life undid us.
Oh, yeah.
Life undid us. And so if we've been placed there, I'm so grateful that I was one who was convicted with heart very early. And I was immersed in nature very early. So what's happened now is because I was undone by life, and then undone by life, I began learning the power of reframing. This is what led me to quantum physics. This is what led me to sing. This expression. It's what led me to, this is why I became a nurse. This is why I became these parts of myself. And I'm not saying that anyone should suffer, because hell no, but I will say that what we know about babies being born is that the squeeze is a requirement for their health. The squeeze, the chat. You do not open the shell from outside. You must break your own shell. That is a part of the general agreement to land here on the earth. Many of us created, I believe, as is being said in our sacred contracts, give ourselves these wake-up valves, these wake-up moments. And if we don't take the wake-up moments when they come, we might eventually just have to go ahead and say, well, we're going to do the work from the other side. And that's okay too. All of it's okay. I'm okay.
All of it is necessary. There is a continuum of it all. And the thing is that because we have never been in positions of power as a community, we don't even understand what true power is. So one of the things that, again, the Republicans have done a phenomenal job. And I use them as an exemplar because, in my opinion, a lot of their policies are contrary to the public good, but somehow they still manage to maintain power. That's some stuff for me that should be studied. So what I have learned is that they understand power all the way around. A lot of us, they see power at the top slot. Who's the president? Who's the governor? Who got elected? But guess what? When Freddie Gray was murdered in Baltimore, the city council president wasn't there, the comptroller wasn't there, the mayor wasn't there, the chief of police wasn't there. It was people on the rank and file. And again, however you feel about that, recognizing that the Republicans understand that having a secretary of state or having a local elected official, the board of election supervisors person, having those, they look at the central committee, the school board. They are getting power at all of the levels because they recognize it's not top down. That's where you look. But it is from the bottom up. And that is one of the challenges. We want the top slot. We want to lead. But one of the things that we're not comfortable with, and you and I talked about this before, is people want to lead without being comfortable with, I don't know. Because if you are leading an organization, you're taking them places they've never been before. So there's stuff that you don't know. So you got to be comfortable, not just saying I don't know as a thing to do, but to figure it out afterwards. That's your job. And so what happens is that we get these roles of leadership and we don't understand our power because we're just trying to tell people what to do. We're not trying to look to the future. We're trying to preserve the past. We got a lot of these people today talking about, I can't wait to get back to normal. Well, normal did not work for you before COVID. What are you looking for now? If we have a very unique time and space to tell people to invest in what the next section will look like. We get to say, hell, because guess what? The last time they put this stuff together, I ain't have a say in it. I didn't have a platform to talk about it. I was born into this. We get an opportunity to make decisions now. And if you are, what did my friend say? If you are not at the table, you will be on the menu.
You will be. You will be. And so the exciting part is William Honor Blue is holding space. He's got a table and he's putting people in chairs and giving opportunities for us to share. And what we know about what they say, if you want to go far, go by as fast, you go by yourself. You want to go far, you go together. The power of the collaboration, the power of the individual, the power of the agreement. And it's why when I say I'm a relational harmony orchestrator, I absolutely believe it starts at a foundational level, the self, and the people you are in intimate relationship with.
Yes.
Most people they keep recreating their dynamic with their brother and sister and husband and wife. We keep recreating it. We keep recreating dynamics with our family. We keep recreating this pain body because it's a soundtrack we're familiar with.
It is. Let's get back to normal.
That. That's the getting back to normal, right?
I had a friend of mine. This was when she had some drinking problems and stuff like that, and she realized that she and her girlfriend, they just fought all the time, and she was an abuser, just had at it, but she didn't want to do that anymore. She had stopped drinking and stuff, and they just kept arguing. And she told her girlfriend, she was like, look, you know what? Maybe we just shouldn't be together because I don't want to live like that anymore. She said, you know what the problem is? You won't hit me. Like, I know I make you mad and you're trying to hold it all in, and that's what's messing us up in a relationship. You can let it go. It's okay. I understand. And she said she has never felt more sad in her life because she realized that's what her girlfriend thought love was. And she realized that she had been a party to that. Like, they had selected each other because of those vices. And this is one of the things, like, when you have never been respected, you imagine what respect looks like. So that's why when and I'll tell my own personal story, like, it took me so long to understand and be comfortable when people genuinely loved me because I didn't. And it felt weird. It felt like, okay, they're trying to trick me. Oh, this makes me feel nervous because I remember the one time I felt this and it didn't go well. So no, not again. Not again. And that is limiting.
It is. It absolutely is limiting. And it's, for me, has become this, I witness it everywhere. I've been a nurse for the last 15 years, which is why I'm back in school as a holistic RN. I will be going further in this journey because of the need to be at that table, like commanding my seat around this process, because we know the biomedical model has not worked. And we know
it's not designed for anybody but the people who make money.
And we're going to say how to make it on both sides, right? They break you and then they make you pay to fix it. Anyway, but back
I'm sorry, Ancestry.com. You stole us, brought us over here. Now you want us to give you $99 to find out where we came from. I think I should just get that because my skin is brown, and to hell with all of y'all.
You should actually just get that. And we won't even go into.
That's a different show. You one of these guests that wait till the last 10 minutes to bring up a whole nother show topic. You ain't slick.
Well, you know what that means. We'll be back.
You got to come back. Absolutely.
We have never not had this level of conversation.
True that.
The time that I met you. Yeah. The time that I met you. And so what I'm really clear on, as each individual wakes up to their power, you are awake to your power. I am awake to my power. The people who are witnessing us are now either awake or they've something been disturbed in their spirit to say, I got power. And what happens when we begin to own that power, what they know about power's responsibility comes. And then you start realizing the places where you might have been lazy in your journey, because it's easier to go along and get along and to follow the script, because then you don't have to say, you can blame someone else. You can give the authority, you can give the blame, the accountability. You are now in the space of saying, it's this way because this is just how it is, as opposed to how you've agreed, what you've agreed to. So as we walk in our power, I'm okay with being responsible. I know that the only person I'm responsible for is myself. And as I'm responsible for myself, then I go into a place of creating agreements with others. When we have this conversation, we're in agreements and we're finding our way to have harmony. And we're demonstrating what it looks like when a powerful Black man and a powerful Black woman have engaging, dynamic soul stirring, pot stirring. We scraping the bottom of the pot today. Everybody can get
Absolutely.
off of this right here.
No, no, and it's not for everybody. That's why I tell people like it's people say,
I
well,
got
people might not watch the show. It's like I don't care because the people who watch it are the ones who need to watch it. And,
I
and
should.
and I am comfortable in that. And if it's just one person, I'm absolutely cool. And if it's just me, because I told you this is one of the reasons that this is part of my mental health journey. So every show is valuable, at least to me, because because there's some things that we had that you have covered that are transformative things like and one of the things you said is about like people being on your journey, recognizing that in the space of I don't know is that you need to find someone who may have had can advise you or may have some experience, but also recognize that they may not be your people. And so what ends up happening is that when we realize that there is this incongruence, we sometimes find hustlers or hustlers that get us they sound good, they sound quantum physical. They talk about Kundalini and da 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 da. They sound like somebody who should be, up on an Avengers movie or something like that. And because that's the culture we live in, they lead you astray, and then they draw your power. And so, find understanding what sacred spaces are, and recognizing, just like clothes, the sacred space you fit in will change. You may not, the place that you start in your journey may not be the place that is the next part for you. And it may end up, the place you started may end up the place you finish. But though, so long as you have where you are not allowing the energy to flow through you. You are trying to control lightning. That's mighty white of you.
I know that there are certain things that have come through this conversation. And I'm so grateful for the places in which you caught those details, caught them by the tail and pulled them out. Like, not that one, that right there. We got everything else packed. This one won't go though. Okay, now keep going. Let's pull that one out. And this is how, in that refinement process of iron sharpening iron,
Right.
we grow. The power that we seek is within us. We were built to do this work. We're going to keep doing this work. This work is going to continue to unfold beautifully. And it's only for those who recognize I ain't got nothing to do with anybody else. I don't have anything to do with anybody else, actually. I have a contract to be myself and to engage as I am through my inner authority. For me, I am invited to. Invitation matters to me. For me.
So I want us to collaborate on writing an article together, just a small editorial piece on what you said about the sacredness of boundaries and the simile or the analogy toward cellular health. Because that was it put it in a totally different perspective. It's like if you try we live in a world of toxicity, of COVID everywhere. And we need ourselves to the boundaries around. Yeah, we'll work on it because I'm trying to do this off the fly, and my epidemiology ain't really kicking in the way it should. You feel me? But by the time we talk about it again, I should be on it. But that was, I think that can be a way of communicating this concept of
Yes.
engagement, of like Lisa says, of alignment.
Yes.
And that I just wanted to because you're absolutely right. People really do need to understand that it ain't for everybody. And we talked about relationships. Damn, that was Monday. It seems like it was like a couple weeks ago. It was just Monday. And one of the things is like a lot of us want to be loved by everybody, and that we counted on the numbers. Like, oh, if somebody says you can have 50 people tell you look good, and one person says you don't, and it's a bother. But my thing is like, what if only the one person you care about says you look good? Who gives a damn what everybody else says? That was a
Look, I
show.
love that right there, right there, right there. That's all there's so much joy that's possible when we recognize that the burdens that we have picked up, we
Mm-hmm.
can put down. and simply allow ourselves grace, allow ourselves compassion, allow ourselves ability to know newly, to keep knowing anew, to keep being renewed. So yes, we're going to write this article.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to come back together and have more of these conversations. Yes, you're going to keep pulling out those threads because the way that's how your mind works. Yes, I want to go eat with you at Darker Than Blue.
Yeah.
Yes, you hear me? I'm throwing things out there.
Started with that.
Yes. Yes.
We might have to do the next show. We might have to do the next show over a table or something. We see what we can work out. Yeah, it's about to get wild up in here. It's about to get wild up in here. All right, love. Thank you so much. This has been a blessing, and we need to make sure come back later when you are out or whatever. Put your contact information in the chat. I'll try to remember to do the same so that everybody can reach out and get you. Because whether it's your physical health, your metaphysical health, or your mental or spiritual alignment, like Ama can really at least, no matter how bad off you are, you can at least get pointed in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we did it again. We got to the end of another amazing show with an amazing talent. I tell you people all the time, I know dope folk, and I get a chance to bring them to you, and I am grateful for that opportunity. Oh, gosh. On behalf of Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan and myself, we are very grateful to have you all as viewers. And Monday, we will talk to the ICANN lady, Shannon Battle, and Randy DuPont about community level mental health and what we can do to change the world, at least in Baltimore to start. All right. We'll be Black on Monday.